and it's the Manchester Police, who then very angrily informed me that they're about to charge me with terrorism laws because I've broken anti-terrorism laws by flying a drone in controlled airspace. So I put on the thickest, dumbest Australian accent that I can. Oh, geez, fellas, sorry about that. Oh, crikey. Do you want to have a go? It's a fun little toy. TV show.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I can't pronounce it. You go. You open the vlog. You open the bloody podcast. Far out.
What is up, you sexy beasts? Did I do that right?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Ah, so good. Welcome back to the bald and the beardiful. That's how it's pronounced in the English language.
Yeah, good. I'm not going to continue that conversation. It's good. Thank you.
No, good.
Appreciate it.
Good.
Today we're going to take a different route. We're sick of CrossFit.
Yeah.
Over CrossFit, mate. So today we're going to go through some of our favourite YouTube channels that we both watch on a daily basis, make some recommendations, and hopefully inspire the nation.
How big is YouTube? If you have to divide up your kind of total viewing between, like free-to-air TV, who watches that, Netflix, Stan, Hulu, YouTube, how much does YouTube make up for you?
I'd say 90%. Yeah, big chunk. Yeah, I've just started getting into Netflix, to be honest. I've never been a big Netflix guy, but with the whole thing going down, I'm getting into a bit of Netflix, but still, this is where I'm at majority of the day. Yeah,
YouTube's the shit. So I definitely watch too much YouTube because I need multiple things going on at once. So I start off, and this is my first recommendation, I start off every morning with Philip DeFranco. I can't say it's a news show as much. It kind of is a news show, but sometimes you get important world events followed up by this YouTuber called That YouTuber a Poo-Poo Head or some nonsense. Like,
yeah, sure. It's also very American.
Very American.
Like it's American news. But by saying that, I love the guy for how neutral he is. Like I don't think I've come across someone who covers events as neutralism. It doesn't seem to be too left, too right. He seems to be just a really nice balance in the middle somewhere. Yeah.
I think that he could be left or right, and he's just as much left or right as we are, so we think that he's balanced.
Sure.
So
check him out.
Anyway. I like him. Anyway, check out Philip DeFranco, daily, Monday through Friday news, kind of this is what went on. And just the way it works, he puts it out at nighttime US time, but it comes out kind of early morning Australian time, so it works out well for me. Kind of I get up, have breakfast, watch that. Start my day with hopefully some positive, some negative news. So
he also every episode he shares his favorite things that he's seen on YouTube, which is always really good quality stuff. So even if you just watch the skip to the part where he goes through his favorite stuff, it's worth it.
For sure.
Totally.
What's yours? What's your go-to?
Let's go comedy. So you actually introduced me to a bunch of cool comedians, and one of those being Chris D'Elia, which I know a bunch of the viewers probably have found or are babies if you do watch him. But yeah, Chris D'Elia for a good laugh. Just if you want to just unwind and just have someone talk talk nonsense. But be hilarious at the same time. Definitely a good vibe.
Yeah, and we've got to be clear. You've got to be down for a silly goose time.
Yeah.
Because that's all it is. If you go there looking for anything serious, or if you're like, I like a little chuckle every now and then, it's not for you. It's if you want something that's completely irrelevant and silly, Chris D'Elia, very funny guy.
He's releasing his new special tonight.
Yeah, can't wait.
On Netflix, so yeah.
Can't wait. Who up next? Let's go back around to kind of our world. Let's go back to photography, videography, the go-to, the obvious one. If you're interested in cameras and videos and any of this kind of stuff, and you're not already following Peter McKinnon, forget about your life. Probably sell your camera and take a long walk off a short cliff.
Yeah, definitely.
Peter McKinnon, definitely for me. I think for us, kind of took the whole videography and photography thing from being something we were interested in to something we got excited about, at least for me.
Yeah, so I think a lot of tutorials on YouTube are very nerdy, very, I call them trons. I don't know why, I've always called nerds trons.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, there's a bunch of trons trying to talk about cameras. He was the first guy I came across who was like, you know what, I'd love to sit down with this guy and have a beer. Yeah. He seems like a genuinely nice dude. He's tatted up, got a young family. He's just a really likable guy that I can relate to and is very good at teaching video and photo.
Yeah. And I want to be clear, he's not an amazing photographer and he's not an amazing videographer, but he has an amazing personality. He connects well. And for anyone out there who is like thinking about getting into the YouTube world and that kind of stuff, it matters so much more that you have that personality. And there's going to be a few people like that where we're like, they're not the best at what they do, but they've got personality behind it and they can tell a story. That's the biggest thing. Even if he is giving a tutorial, which he doesn't really do much.
Not anymore, no.
Very rarely. But even if he is, the first minute to 2 minutes is going to be some sort of narrative based. And then, the end of the video will usually wrap up that narrative. So you've got to tell a story. You've got to be interesting. And you can see kind of people who started with Peter McKinnon. We'll call them out. I don't think they're going to see this. But people like Matty Hapoya, Chris Howe, they all started at the same time. They all put in the same amount of effort, roughly. And Peter McKinnon shot way ahead of any of them by a long shot. And it was because of his personality more than anything. So.
Yeah, totally. I think also he made video and photo less scary for me. I felt like I was a dummy. I didn't know much about it, but he made it very achievable. His early tutorials are awesome. So totally go and check out a bit of Peter McKinnon.
So let's stick with the video stuff. If people are cool, I'm down with Peter McKinnon. I watch him already. Who else? I want to get more technical. Who else should I check out?
Well, just for inspiration's sake. So if you just want to be inspired and see something really cool, it's going to be two dudes that I'm going to recommend. And one is Sam Calder and
Matt Como.
Matt Como, Sam Calder. If I need to be inspired and just get fired up about taking photos and doing video, I go to their stuff. It's crazy, insane. They don't do any tutorials, so you don't get to know. You don't find out how do they achieve the things they achieve. But I always leave their videos just feeling fired up to create stuff. So
100%.
Yes.
For video specifically, I'm going to recommend Parker Warback, Walbeck. Doesn't do a lot of videos, but I definitely learn a lot in the videos that he does do. And then also, let me give you a little bit of... James Matthews.
Oh, yeah.
We've got to give James Matthews a shout out.
Totally, man. Very cool. For me, I watch his stuff because of his personality, because of his accent. Again, he knows some stuff about cameras and teaching. But again, I go there more so for the entertainment value and he's just such a funny dude. Well, maybe he's not. Maybe I just find him funny because of his accent.
Yeah. Even if you're not into photography or videography, just listen to him. Just lie down, have a cup of tea, close your eyes, and just listen to that voice.
Yeah,
it's
totally
pretty gorgeous. And then for editing, I definitely recommend King Tut's Pro. A lot of really good. Mostly, I think it's actually all Final Cut Pro. So if you're living that Premiere life, maybe not for you, but King Tut's Pro, really, really good.
Premiere Pro. Daniel Scheffer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, another great editor, Final Cut editor.
King of B-roll.
King of B-roll for products specifically. So if you want to do more product stuff, he's the man to go see.
What about, let's switch up to CrossFit. What CrossFit channels? This is all you. I'm out. I'm tapping out for this one.
Look, there's two channels I think if you're a CrossFitter, you should be following if you want to stay up to date with the athletes especially, and that is the Buttery Bros. Heber and Mars do a great job, really high production value, I think, for a vlog. Like, they go over and above with the graphics and the color grading and all the stuff that makes a video looks beautiful. So definitely Buttery Bros. And then, of course, Team Richie, Craig and Jazz. He reminds me of the Casey Neistat of the CrossFit world, very raw video, but just great storyteller, really connects with the athletes, hangs out with the best of the best. So, yeah, those are by far the two leading CrossFit pages that I would, channels that I would follow.
Love it. What about random ones? I've got a random one, completely left field, but I'm obsessed with it. I've gone back years into their archives and watched it again and again. And this is a really, really good example of how personality and presentation and consistency can take something that you wouldn't naturally be into and can completely change that. So my random recommendation is Alec Steele, Alecsteele. And he's a knife maker. He's a young guy. At first, it really threw me. This is this young British guy with quite a posh accent that seems like he's a bit of a softie, but then it turns out that he's actually a blacksmith and he's hard as nails and he makes amazing, amazing knives and all sorts of other metalwork. And I had zero interest in metalwork whatsoever. But the way that he films the videos, again, in that narrative style, he films them like a vlog. And some of these videos, most of them are about 20 minutes long. Some of the series, you know, where they're like, hey, we're going to create this sword, they can be like 20, 30 episodes, and they come out like once a week. And so for like 30 weeks, you're watching and you can't wait for that 20-minute episode to come out. And I've watched a lot of other, I got into knife making because of it. It interested me. And I could not find anyone else who had even half of the personality and half of the presentation skills and B-roll skills and narrative building and all that kind of stuff that Alec had. So, yeah, if for no other reason, search, you know, knife making tutorial and see what most people are doing, which is, you know, just shitty cameras, shitty, no talking, just music over the top type stuff. And then look at one episode of what he does. And as a result, just like Peter McKinnon is highly successful off of YouTube with his speaking and his product collabs and stuff like that. Same with this young Alex Steele kid. You know, he's very successful outside of YouTube now in his business world because of that, because he could engage with someone.
That's cool. I love it. I don't watch many channels for just the sake of watching it. I'm normally pretty intentional about watching it for educational purposes. So it's cool to know there's some channels out there we can just learn some new stuff. And and I think Marcus Brownlee is one of those, MKBHD. So if you're into tech, he's by far the leading YouTuber, I'd say, when it comes to tech reviews. Talks to some of the best of the best. I know he's interviewed people like
Elon Musk,
Bill Gates, a bunch of the. So if you're into a bit of tech stuff, go and check him out. I'm sure. Yeah, if you're on YouTube, you've probably stumbled across him.
Yep. The other one I love. I love. Actually, let's talk about two really interesting ones where ideas that seem stupid or pedestrian just absolutely take off. The first one is Unbox Therapy, which, you know, both MKBHD and Unbox Therapy have been around for a long time. So they've paid their dues. But the idea around Unbox Therapy is literally this guy Lou gets sent products. He used to buy the products, now he gets sent them, and he just opens them up and gives you a first look review. You know, he's not using them in depth. He's not telling you what they're like to live with. Sometimes it's stuff that you want to know, like the new iPhone. Sometimes it's the 5 cheapest pair of headphones you can get on Amazon. But again, there's personality around it. There's narrative around it. So that's one of them. And then the other one that I love because it's such a dumb idea. And if you ever took it to an actual, you know, Netflix or someone like that, they'd laugh in your face. But now it's turned into something bigger than most Netflix shows, which is Hot Ones from First We Feast. So this is the show where they get celebrities in to eat progressively hotter wings on YouTube. It's incredible. You name a celebrity, they've been on there. It's incredible to watch if you've not watched it. It's the equivalent of watching these celebrities get drunk. That's how open and kind of, that's how much they let their guard down. You know? These hot wings destroy their souls. I remember when I found him the first time, I was very surprised at how big he was because I didn't really vibe with him or the show. I was like, this is average. He's average, and I feel like the camera work could be. I don't know. Like there's something about it that's like, oh, this is not on par with. You know, the kind of people he's getting. But the more episodes I watched, the more I started to understand the concept and. It's a weird one, and I still don't understand why. But a lot of people who've been on that show kind of universally think that guy, Sean Evans is his name, is the best interviewer they've ever been interviewed by.
Wow.
And I can't work out why, because to me he comes across as awkward and just, I don't know, it doesn't seem natural. It seems very forced. But they love it. They love it, and people keep going back. So, but again, this is what I mean about, if we're kind of going sideways, but if you are thinking about diving in and starting your YouTube channel and you think that it's too dumb because all you're going to do is unbox some products or you're going to eat hot wings with friends and, you know, like these ideas that seem stupid have a way of taking off sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
I love those two.
How much do you think is production value worth when it comes to, because there's some of these guys, like we talk about Unbox Therapy, right? Like he's unboxing products, but we've seen his setup in his studio. It is a big production.
It's legit.
Same with Marcus Brownlee, you know, like these guys are, the guy that you're talking about, the knife maker, part of the enjoyment of watching them is the quality of the footage. Like it's so nicely shot. It's just so pretty to watch. How much do you think a good idea versus, what's the percentage of?
You know what it is? It's the production value is the exercise. The narrative is the diet.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like you can exercise as much as. So the production value, you know, they're having the pretty cameras and the lights and all that. That's the same as working out, right? Like, you need it. It goes a long way. But the narrative, having the story, having the personality behind that story, that's the nutrition. That's the diet.
I like that.
I got so deep just then. That's what I think it is. If you try and apply that production value without a strong narrative, the best you can hope for is to be another YouTuber, Jon Olsen, right? This guy is a multi-millionaire. His father-in-law is a billionaire. They live the life of private jets and, you know, amazing multi-million-dollar houses in Marbella, in Spain. And, like, they live an insane fucking life. And he's okay at telling stories. He's better than most at telling stories, but he's nowhere near as good as someone like a Casey Neistat at telling stories. So when they're running around, you know, spending insane amount of monies on, you know, a red cinema camera that's $30,000 with $10,000 lenses, or a whatever you call those drones, the Inspire, the big ones, you know, they're running around and their production value is insane, but they're not getting anywhere near as many views as, you know, some people can get using their phone or using David Dobrik, perfect example. He still uses a Canon T500 or something like that. Like
never heard of it.
It's such an entry level camera that it's not funny. Like it's a cropped frame sensor. It's a shitty camera. It drives me nuts, and he still gets millions of views.
That's
every single day.
Another channel you should check out for sure.
Yep.
The videos are what? No more than 4 minutes.
4 minutes and 20 seconds exactly.
Every
wink,
episode.
Nudge.
Yeah. Go and watch it.
Yeah, and for me, you know, I'm 30 something. How old am I? 30.
You're 40.
34.
40.
I'm 60.
Definitely 40.
I think I'm 34. I'll call my wife and ask her. But for me, I watch David Dobrik because it's a flashback to being young and dumb, and then imagining if you were young and dumb and had millions of dollars. It's a real world Richie Rich.
Yeah, it's so great. I mean?
It's silly.
His videos, I get to the end of his videos and I feel like I've watched an hour of footage cramped into 4 minutes. There's so much that happens in that 4 minutes. It's insane.
David Dobrik, worth checking out.
So would you say this particular channel here is probably more like the going to the gym production value is really high, but there's no real nutritional value that comes from this podcast particularly? We've got to work on that.
Production value? Narrative.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Are you saying I've got nothing to say?
No, I'm just saying you're a pretty face, but, you know, I'm a walking fucking story.
I love it. You are. I think we should wrap things up soon, but cool. I want to do a couple of channel shout-outs of maybe some smaller creators, similar to what we do with the CrossFit version of this. We normally give like a community person a shout-out that might not be that well-known.
Love it.
So I'm going to give one, and that is TMS Productions. That's one that I enjoy, TMS Productions. Two brothers, twins, and a friend. I mean, they're decent, 66,000 subscribers, but these guys are young filmmakers as well. They have a lot of fun on a budget. So, I've learned a lot from them, especially when it comes to drone stuff. They do like first-person view drone stuff, FPV drone stuff, and good fun dudes.
Nice.
Any channels you kind of follow that aren't maybe that well-known?
Yeah, I don't know how big he is actually, but an Aussie guy, young filmmaker, Hayden Peterson from Melbourne. I really like his stuff. It's a little bit, sometimes it's a little bit too much early 20 Aussies kind of bloke for me, but I really like what he does, and I like that he just gets out there and gets amongst it. 96,000
He's about to animal.
Yeah.
That's insane.
961. Okay.
I'm sure he wasn't that big when I last checked the channel. That's
definitely not.
Holy moly.
All right, hang on. Let me see if I can find us actually a small
That's
subscriber.
Insane. I know who. You mentioned him in your Instagram post yesterday.
Jake Frew.
Jake Frew, man.
Yeah, okay.
Such a good dude.
So my shout out for a smaller creator, and again, 57,000, so not so small, is Jake Frew from Colorado. Jake and I met actually at your recommendation. You pointed him out to me, said, hey, there's this guy in Denver who is making sick Instagram story videos. Reached out to the dude. We had coffee, and then like 2 days later, we're in a van going on a 5-hour road trip. If you saw the photo that I posted on my Instagram of the Great Sand Dunes National Park, we jumped in his van. We drove down there. We got stuck in the snow at 2 a.m. In the middle of a national park where there's wolves and bear and moose and all sorts of shit. We then had to get dragged out the next morning by the rangers. We got quite a large fine for having to get dragged out by the rangers. Then we climbed the sand dunes in the middle of a snowstorm, which is the most insane, weird feeling to be climbing sand dunes in a snowstorm with the Rocky Mountains behind you. And it nearly killed me. I nearly did a death on the side of that mountain. That was I believe it. Not a good cardio day, which is weird because I'm so fit. But and then did a photo shoot at the top of the sand dunes, an engagement shoot. That was one of the best adventures I've ever had. So massive shout out to Jake. He lives out of his van now. All he does is drive his van around the US and do video and photo full time. And I'm so proud of him because when I hung out with him, he still had a full time job and wanted to make that leap. Now he has, and it's paying off for him. So big shout out to Jake. Totally. Now I don't know when we're going to do this again, so I can't finish this video without giving this guy a shout out. Yep. He's probably next to Peter McKinnon, probably my next, probably on par when it comes to inspiration. Is Jesse Driftwood. And the thing I love about him is he's incredible, but he's all about, it's not about the gear, it's about what you do. And he's very much about in-camera transitions and just making an awesome looking story with minimal stuff. He's very, he's not about stuff and things. Yep. So, he's a real maker. He's a real creator. Yeah, he's a real creator, through and through. So he's much bigger on Instagram than he is on YouTube, but he does have a YouTube channel with some awesome tutorials. So highly recommend you check out Jesse Driftwood. He kind of is the guy who pioneered high quality Instagram stories. So Instagram stories filmed with a high quality camera in portrait mode. Yep. So he would vlog. He would shoot his stories with an actual mirrorless or DSLR camera. And just turn the camera around and kind of do it portrait-wise. So, and that's doing it for the art. Yeah. That's he would spend half a day filming and editing these Instagram stories that only lasted 24 hours. This is before you had highlights and stuff like that where you could save it forever. This is before, other mediums like Facebook, went kind of more vertical. So if you were doing a vertical video back in the early days, you were doing it just for the love of the game because it was out there. A few people had seen it. Stories were still new, kind of Snapchat. There was like a crossover between Snapchat and Instagram stories. And, man, that dude is doing it for the love of the game. So he actually mentioned a story where he somehow got in front of people at Instagram to kind of present what he's done with the platform, and they were really upset that he used it in that way because that's not what the way it was meant to be used. Wow. It was meant to be just like on the phone, instant stuff, and he was making these really legit looking, really cinematic kind of stories, and they were like, no, that's not what it was for, and they weren't very happy with what he was doing, but that was cool. I enjoyed that. Love it. How much time have we got here before we cut out? We've got 5 minutes. Can I ask you a question? Ask me a question. Drones. Yes. Drone flying experiences. Yeah. I just thought... like any particular country? I don't know. I just thought the last 5 minutes, let's talk about our most memorable drone experiences. Easy. Because we've both had a couple. Yeah. Go. Easy. Okay, so I was obsessed with drone. I felt like I got on the drone thing fairly early. You did? Loved it. Absolutely. Actually, no, I did because I got one of the kind of pre-order. You had the first Mavic in the world. Yeah, before they invented it. Yeah. Anyway, loved it. Absolutely loved it. Practiced. I felt like I got pretty good with it. That's it. This is the actual one from this story. This is the best it can do right now. That's all it can do. So short version, we're in Sweden. We're in a little town called Vegas on the edge of Lake Lucerne. Massive mountains next to this beautiful blue lake. I see this gap between some tree leaves that is just big enough for the drone to fly through. I think, a reverse pull away through there would look amazing. Again, very much a Sam Calder type shot. First time I hit the tree branch, it did a flip and it regained its kind of own control. Second attempt, I hit the tree branch and it crashed, but it was okay. Third attempt, we got it to go through and kept pulling back and going higher and higher. And I was so happy and so elated that it actually worked that I just kept on pulling back, not realizing that above there was a ridge with a bunch of pine trees, and I flew it backwards into those pine trees. And it crashed, and the battery and the camera and the arms and pretty much everything just exploded on impact. And we got it returned, and apparently it's been fixed, but the people who fixed it kept the controller, and so this is all it is. It's a paperweight right now, but I think we've got the footage. We can probably I'll find the footage and we can throw it in.
Please,
here.
I'd love to see it.
But
we actually got our editor. We had an editor at the time. We got him to make a travel film, and we specifically instructed him to put that footage in there because it was such a crazy experience, and it didn't make it in. But if we can put it on here, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So you also had an incident in Manchester.
Oh yeah, Manchester. So middle of Manchester City. This is a few years ago. Not so many years ago, but middle of Manchester City, decided to launch the drone from a closed down car park from the roof. Launched it in the middle of, and you're not meant to, and I knew you're not meant to, and I knew I was being naughty, but I didn't think anything would happen. It was a quick flight. So I pop it up. I get an amazing parallax shot of, I forget the cathedral, but there's a big cathedral church in the middle of Manchester. I get the shot. Just as I get the shot, I hear someone call out to me, and it's the Manchester police, who then very angrily inform me that they're about to charge me with terrorism laws because I've broken anti-terrorism laws by flying a drone in controlled airspace. So I put on the thickest, dumbest Australian accent that I can. Oh, geez, fellas, sorry about that. Oh, crikey. Do you want to have a go? It's a fun little toy. And kind of talked my way out of either a ticket or a charge, a terrorism charge. And my beautiful wife who was with me, who's never broken a law in her life, as soon as they left, proceeded to slap me across the arm and tell me I was a so-and-so idiot. So
amazing. Amazing.
But the shot was worth it. We'll drop that shot in as well. It was absolutely worth it. So, if you've got to break some terrorism laws, you got to do it.
Worth it. Love it. I think that's good. I don't have any interesting stories. I'm a good drone flyer. I never crashed and never got into trouble. So, no, it's good.
See, I use my equipment. That's the difference.
It's good, man. It's good. It's good. Cool. That was fun.
Awesome.
Love it. Let us know if there's anything else you want us to cover on here. We've got, like you said, you're a walking story. So yeah, lots of things to pull out of that head over there.
Yeah.
And
let us know what channels we missed out on. Let us know what your favorite channels are.
Please.
Whether it's a CrossFit channel we don't know about, let him know about it. I don't give a shit. Or if it's a videography, or if it's actually, let us know if there's some random channel about some random thing that is so captivating in its narrative and storytelling ability and personality that we should check out. Like, let's find a channel that is about something completely out of our world that would actually interest us.
Totally. I'm down for that. Love it, guys. Stay sexy, and we'll see you very soon.